Welcome to the Intuitive Health Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Anthony Rafferty, medical doctor, PhD, Reiki and shamanic intuitive healer. I'm here to bring you on a journey of holistic healing that explores the science of the physical body combined with mental and emotional well-being, energetic and spiritual health. And I am so excited to have you here with me today as we talk about something called conscious conception. Now, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I do a lot of work around fertility. But, obviously being a doctor and a shamanic healer, it's important to look at all aspects of what it looks like to actually welcome new soul into this world. And, you probably are well aware now that I feel within modern medicine, we've completely lost touch with actually who we are as individuals. We're so much more than the physical body. We are also the mind, our emotions, our energy, this kind of connection to spirit, whatever that might look like for you. And the way that I have seen my work evolve with regard to fertility and pregnancy is that there is such a dense energy in the world around us at the moment. There is so much darkness. And if you think about what these beautiful little souls, these little spirit babies, they are so pure in their energy when they come into the womb and when they go through this journey of pregnancy with you, that actually they need to know that they're going to be safe coming through this dense vibrational energy that surrounds the earth at the moment into a really safe place, which is the beautiful cushion of your womb and your body. So therefore, it is of no surprise that we obviously need to create a lovely energetic environment within the womb and body in order to welcome that gorgeous, pure little soul in. And I do volunteer sessions every couple of weeks at the National Maternity Hospital. I see a whole array of women through that process. I mainly see women that are at varying stages of pregnancy. And the work is just so profound with regard to the kind of events that happen during pregnancy that may be linked to trauma trapped in the body, different positional lies of the baby I've seen related to different things, and even just how the labour and delivery goes based on the kind of the trauma or the fear that may be held in the body. So I love to work with women in the preconception phase, during pregnancy, and prior to and after delivery to really support their energetic body as well as all the other parts of who they are. So that's why I kind of wanted to talk about this today. So conscious conception, what is it? So it's an act of inviting life into the world. It's this beautiful little soul. You're calling it into the world with really crystal clear awareness, with reverence of what that's going to be like, and deep intentionality. It's not about just trying to get pregnant. It's actually preparing your whole being. It's preparing your body, your mind, your soul, and your energy field to receive that little soul. You're essentially going into partnership with that energy so that you can actually bring it through. It's like you're a sacred vessel or a portal for this light, the beautiful light of this soul that's going to come in. So that means preparing yourself physically, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually so that the soul of your future child is aligned with the vibration and the frequency that you hold in your body. And this is the thing, like I just love the kind of whole process of planning and the whole process of conception. And even when the sperm and the egg meet and you have all these beautiful chemical reactions form, there's a beautiful little flash of light that happens when the sperm actually enters and fertilizes the egg. And I just love that whole concept that light actually has been involved from the very beginning, from when these two seeds came together. It's just such a sacred process. And, I just think it is such such a beautiful way to look at things, So, for a lot of children coming to the earth these days, many of them are carrying new frequencies and vibrations themselves and new blueprints of what the world and the earth is going to look like in the future. That is so wild. Like, the future generations are going to shape what the world is going to look like moving forward. And because everything starts with energy at the end of the day, ushering in these new frequencies and really high vibrational souls, it means that our bodies have to be prepared to actually hold that level of vibrational frequency. So generally speaking, they need really safe and clear anchored bodies and also clear lineages in order to come through. So keeping that in mind, it's also important to look at how we live the day to day and the way society and the patriarchy has conditioned life to be. And, it's just mind boggling to me how rushed and disconnected we are every single day. And, even through the medical process, there's a lot of over medicalization of things. And I'm speaking about this as a doctor. But also a lot of fear comes in through the process as well, based on statistics and numbers. And of course, we want to keep people as safe as possible so that mother and baby are so safe going on this journey. But it's important to weigh up all of these things because a lot of these things that I'm talking about, they cause us to be within a survival mode, rather than a thriving mode. They cause a lot of stress and a lot of trauma is inflicted by these processes. So, it's really important to kind of keep in mind that in order to usher in this beautiful energy and to go on a journey with this little soul, we have to slow down, And I think the way that modern medicine has kind of evolved in a lot of ways is that all the statistics and the numbers and all of these things during consultations basically point to a ticking time bomb at which you reach the age of 35, you become a geriatric mother in the medical system at that stage, and it's like your fertility just drops off a cliff. That's what you're led to believe. And really, there are so many factors involved in what fertility looks like that we never even really learned at medical school or through any advanced training, that are now really, really important parts of the fertility journey with the physical body. But one of the most basic things that you can do is to reduce the stress and the trauma in your life and identify the areas in which you feel you are living in survival mode and move more towards an energy of thriving so that your vibrational frequency can rise and basically align with this gorgeous little soul. So, generally speaking, we want to create space in our life, in our world, in order for this new little life to be welcomed. We don't want it to arise from force, and that's easier said than done because obviously the pressure that I've been talking about with regard to what conception looks like these days, and especially if you've been trying for some time, it feels like a ticking time bomb is mounting, But part of trusting the process, doing the investigation so we can find some of the root cause issues going on in the body and correct them, they just take time sometimes. And I do say you're better off devoting a couple of months to really preparing the mind, the body and the soul to welcome in this little life than try and call it in a stressed space in which it's actually a traumatic event for you on the journey of conception. So I really, really love that. So essentially, what is this process? It's a process of devotion, like devoting your time and energy to creating a new space for this soul in your life. So, like I mentioned, preparing the physical body is going to be so important for this journey. I feel everything starts in the gut. And if couples come through to me or if women come through to me and there's any sort of inflammation going on in the body, I'm like, we need to reduce the inflammation. Now, it's really, really interesting because in traditional Chinese medicine, the yang energy, the doing energy, the going energy is associated with fire. And fire to me is inflammation. So it's unsurprising that a lot of women that I'm seeing have inflammation because they're being forced into a space in which they are constantly active and doing. There's no slower yin, go with the flow space within their world. So with this in mind, I do tend to do some gut nourishing treatments with herbs and supplements and nutrition change in order to reduce inflammation in the body. And also look at what might be causing inflammation. There might be other underlying issues like endometriosis. Now, in addition to that, I also like to look at what the hormones are doing and what is happening with ovulation. So, do we need to restore ovulation? So, ovulation is a process in which a follicle develops in the ovary and an egg is released. This is a process that's cyclical in nature. It is so interesting on an energetic level, with regard to when I see ovulation is disturbed. So it's often associated with things like nourishment and nutrition of the body. Are we giving adequate nutrition that the body feels it can go on and release an egg to have a baby? It's going to be maintained. But also polycystic ovaries is the main thing that we kind of tend to see with regard to kind of obstructed or ovulation that doesn't occur every month, anovulation we call it. Now, this is a really interesting condition to me because generally speaking, in polycystic ovaries, although it's a spectrum, we tend to see in some circumstances that there's increased androgens or testosterone in the body. Now, we call this the male sex hormone, though all women have it. But it's really interesting because it's linked to the yang aspect, the doing aspect. Is there space in your life to be in the yin, to be in the soft and the flow in order to allow the body to restore its natural balance? So these are just some energetic concepts linked to some of the main conditions that I see. It's really important to go on a journey with what nutrients look like in the body, and I will do a full evaluation of that on my blood work just to really identify, could it be a nutritional deficiency? And there's a lot of evidence-based work out there these days that show there are specific nutrients that are linked to increased follicle and sperm development and quality, which is fantastic. But also just making sure that you have all the right things there to make sure you're creating gorgeous little seeds, but your body is prepared and it feels ready to actually go on this journey with this little soul that will be using your blood and all of the vitamins and minerals to grow during the pregnancy. We also want to make sure you've regulated blood sugars, and I tend to really go on a deeper dive into what sleep looks like, nervous system support, and just make sure all your detoxification pathways are working. So, things like the liver, which is involved in detoxification, your kidneys, your renal system, and your gut. The liver and the gut are so involved in estrogen regulation. It's so important that all of the body organs are taken into account. And similarly, things like the thyroid are going to be hugely important when you're preparing the physical body. So the thing is, what does it look like to go on a journey with the physical body? It means making sure that you're sleeping well, you're managing your stress. This is just really basic bits and pieces. You're getting good sleep. And are you nourishing yourself with plenty of whole foods, lots of fiber in the diet, eating the rainbow? They're really basic things that you can do to actually have a really powerful impact on the body. But beyond the labs and the supplements that we tend to work with to prepare the physical body, what's happening within the womb? Is it clear? Does she feel soft? Does she feel safe? Does she feel love? And wombs hold memory. This is what blows my mind. The womb is such an incredibly powerful organ for women. And I just find it just so fascinating because it's a creative center. It can literally give rise to life. It can create and grow a whole human in 9 months. But maybe you're not on a journey of creating life. You're creating the destiny and the life you want to live. You can heal the womb and channel that energy into creation. How beautiful. I just love that. So it's not just a journey with the womb for making a baby. It's a journey with the womb to connect to your creative center, to call in the destiny and create the beautiful world that you want and came here to live in, However, what impacts the womb? Emotion, grief, trauma, energy. And this can be before you even came into the world yourself in your mother's womb. So, it's really important to recognize our journey with our wombs as women. It's linked to your own personal trauma, but also it can run and be inherited down through your ancestral lineage. And I will talk about that a little bit later on in the pod. So let's talk a little bit more, first of all, about emotional and mental bodies within our being. And this is huge. Some women come through to me. There was one beautiful soul that I worked with. She was trying for 18 years. She'd had every procedure, every test done under the sun. And when we did a 2-hour womb healing session, it just opened up her belief structure about being able to become a mother, because so many traumatic things had happened on that journey for her. She had deeply held beliefs about what her body was capable of, and whether she'd ever even go on and have a baby. And once we kind of identified those and cleared those energetic imprints, she went on and recently gave birth to a beautiful little baby girl. So one thing I would ask you to think about is, what beliefs do you hold about motherhood? And really challenge yourself about this. What beliefs do you hold about your body and whether it's capable of bringing a baby into the world and carrying it to term? And do you feel enough? Do you feel enough? Are you holding any fear around what birth would look like? Potentially you've had previous losses and maybe loss. You've deep fear around loss. Or maybe it's a bit of a journey about what it looks like to actually be seen within the whole process. A lot of women come to me and feel they haven't been seen within the medical system. They're not being seen by their partners for all the efforts that they're making. These are all really, really big things. And keeping in mind, our mind and our body are intrinsically linked. It's basically the body's on the lookout for whatever thoughts you're thinking. And there's this constant feedback loop. And even the combination of the gut and the brain, the gut-brain axis, this constant feeding back of your gut feeling that's being driven by your thought processes, it's absolutely huge. So going on a journey with conscious conception, it's going to ask you to examine your unconscious narratives and choose what stories you want to carry into motherhood. So tools I recommend using in order to go on a deep journey with that is doing a lot of journaling, doing work around your inner child and what parts of yourself didn't feel loved or safe. What is your relationship even to your own kind of mother, and journeys with what mothering looks like, Things like nervous system regulation are going to be really important for you. And I absolutely adore kind of somatic practices like breathwork. I think breathwork can open people up. It just cracks us wide open. And it is an absolutely incredible tool to go on when you are going deep into your body, into your unconscious narratives. But usually I tend to recommend kind of journaling, looking for prompts online, speaking to kind of professionals and even just friends that can help you to challenge your narratives around some of this stuff. But sometimes we have to get really real with ourselves. When we identify that we have a limiting belief, we need to rewrite that narrative for ourselves in order to change the vibrational frequency that we're holding. I wanted to speak a little bit about the soul of the baby. So the soul of the baby, it's not passive. They are fully involved in this process. They have chosen you as a parent, or the unit that the familial group that the soul is coming into, that has been chosen by the baby because it can see that you have the best life experiences to teach that child. So its own soul can evolve. So this is a beautiful process that happens before that little soul comes into your womb. It's a decision-making process that goes on for this little soul to be with you for the soul journey and the education that it wants while on this earth plane. So, with that in mind, some baby souls will hover around for many months and years before conception. So, sometimes when I'm actually doing energy healing, I can feel the little souls within the etheric field. They're just hovering around there, just waiting for the right time and the alignment of energy so that they can come into the body. And I absolutely love doing sessions where I can feel those little baby souls there waiting to come in. And keeping in mind, every little baby soul is here for a different reason. It's here on a different soul journey itself. So they may be here to bring light to the world and kind of anchor this beautiful energy into the vibrational energy of the earth. Some might be here to clear karmic patterns, and that can happen in relational settings with familial members and things like that. And some are here to heal ancestral lineages. They're the ones that are stepping forward to heal the wounds that nobody else has processed or felt within the family line. So it's really, really like amazing to think that the potential that these souls have for completely shifting the vibrational frequency of Earth, but also the journey that we're going to go on as little souls that have made an agreement to do this together. Some souls, however, are hovering around thinking to themselves, do I want to enter in at this exact moment? And that's why some of them hang around for a wee while before they'll actually come into physical existence. So, ways to connect with the soul of your baby or your future babies, I tend to recommend doing this through things like meditation, guided meditation, dream work, or through prayer and intention, where you begin to actually form a conscious relationship with that gorgeous soul. And, you know, when you form this energetic and conscious relationship, it can help to guide the entire journey. It's so amazing. Some women that come to work with me, they're very consciously aware and have been meditating, calling in the soul of their little baba. It is amazing because they'll come through and they'll be like, I think I need this test or this investigation, or I think I've low progesterone. What's happening here? Their intuition is so deep because there's communication between this lady and the baby soul. And it's almost like you guide each other to get the vessel into the best shape that it can be in. And whether that's through physical body work or, like I say, this kind of preparing your mind and emotions to actually work through any unconscious or limiting beliefs that are blocking you from being able to kind of welcome this little soul in. It's really important to kind of consciously connect with the little soul and to just go on a bit of a journey with that gorgeous little soul. And so look out for things like really vivid dreams about this little baby that you're welcoming in. Sometimes people feel they're being watched over, or they feel deeply emotional at certain times when that soul is near. Some women have a really deep longing in their womb and that sacral chakra, and they tell me about it. They're like, oh my God, there's just a longing here. It almost feels like an energetic memory or a blueprint already exists there. And it's just about calling the light in for that soul to anchor into that womb. Also, keep a little eye out for synchronicities in the world around you. Things like songs, symbols, or repeated names coming up, you know? And sometimes in deep meditation, or when I do kind of some shamanic work with some women, when I bring them to meet the soul of their little baby, the baby tells them what their name is. It's just so beautiful. So, conscious connection with the soul of the baby is going to be so, so big. Now, I wanted to pick back up on the energetic and ancestral blocks that can actually be preventing this little soul from feeling ready and aligned to come into the womb. And through my work as a womb healer, I do see time and again how important it is to clear trauma that you hold in your body, in your sacral chakra, in your womb space, but also to clear ancestral imprints. And this is becoming more and more and more important on fertility journeys for women. So, like I say, your womb carries more than just your own experiences. It can carry the grief of your grandmother's miscarriages. Potentially there was shame from generations of silence and suppression, and we absolutely had that in Ireland. I work with a lot of women that when we go deep into the energetics of it, potentially what's happened further back in their lineage is that maybe one of the women had been in a Magdalene laundry. Potentially there was a child that was lost or given away to be raised by another family member. So that child wasn't observed or acknowledged within the family lineage. There's so many reasons on an ancestral level why the energetics of children become a big issue, that further down the line, souls don't necessarily feel entirely safe to come into the womb until some of this trauma has been cleared. Also, I tend to find on a personal level, people who have had sexual trauma, medical trauma, or even dense energy from past lovers can really be impacting that space. So I spoke a little bit about this specific topic in last week's podcast with regard to clearing and cleansing sexual energy. Such a powerful energy within the body. But there's loads of ways that I help people to go on a journey. I'd be absolutely happy to make a podcast about that in the future if people are interested. But how do you clear your body of the energetics of your past lovers? It's so important. Cord cutting is the main thing that I tend to use with that. Cord cutting with every single one of them. And I ran some workshops on that in the past, which have been powerfully transformative for people. So really important to recognize every little energetic connection that we have in our world. It leaves a little energetic imprint on us, So it's important to kind of identify, well, let's go deep into this. Where are the sticky bits and pieces in my own energy body? What energy am I holding in my womb from any trauma I may have experienced? And what may be going on an ancestral level that I need to clear? It's all about clearing the channel, preparing this beautiful sacred vessel that you have. And that's what the womb is. It's a sacred portal for this gorgeous soul. So how do you do this type of work? Well, obviously you can work with me as a shaman, and I do womb healing sessions, 1 and 2 hour sessions, for women on a journey with healing energetic and ancestral imprints in the womb space. But also you can do cord cutting work from past partners, and things like family constellation work can be really, really powerful to actually get a deeper understanding and allow forgiveness and love and all of these things to come into sticky familial dynamics, which may be cycling through your family lineage. And again, I always love kind of shamanic rituals and ceremony around these things. Any opportunity I get, I make things a ceremony. I light some candles, I burn some sage, I call in the spirits and the ancestors, and I go deep into it. And I absolutely love it. So definitely, it's a gorgeous way to connect. And we'll be covering a lot of this on how to open sacred space and kind of do a bit more around sacred ceremony on our energy medicine course that we're starting in September. So if you want to go on a journey with the body and with your energy, it might be worthwhile signing up for that. But also we'll be running an ancestral healing day, a half-day retreat in Sagosha in Rathmines, and we'll be doing this very work. I'll be helping people navigate removing ancestral blocks or imprints in the energy field. So Becky will pop a little link to the show notes about how you can sign up for that. Now, I want to talk a little bit about spiritual preparation as well, because this is a sacred passage of this gorgeous little soul. It's a soul agreement that you are signing between you and this baby soul. Like, how incredible, how magical. And, I just love when we take this deeper awareness of what it looks like to go on a journey as a parent, what it looks like to go on this journey as a soul that's going into agreement on a deep energetic level with another little soul, for the two of you to learn whatever is for both of your highest goods in this world. So generally speaking, I really love suggesting to women to set up a little sacred altar space. It's almost like a womb altar where you can light candles and add flowers, and you can speak to your baby soul when you light those candles and take time to go into ceremony in these spaces. there are certain angels and ascended masters that can really help with you on this journey with motherhood. And I tend to connect with deep mothering energies and goddesses and ascended masters that work with the womb and work with fertility. Here in Ireland, the goddess Bridget she's a triple goddess. One aspect of that is to do with midwifery. I call her into all of my womb healing sessions. So maybe going on a bit of a journey with her. Egyptian goddesses like Isis, oh my God, very powerful for manifestation and magic. Absolutely amazing. I absolutely love going on a journey with Mother Mary or with Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is linked to the Rose lineage, and she holds a lot of womb codes in her teachings through meditation and just connection with her energy. So she's a beautiful, beautiful energy that I'd recommend going on a journey with. And then there's obviously so many more I could go into detail with, like Hathor. There's so many. So it's definitely worthwhile, though, finding the energies and the spirits and the ascended masters that you want to work with and you feel drawn to on this spiritual journey as you prepare your body, and call in all the guidance from these ascended masters to work with you and to help raise your vibrational frequency to come into alignment with that gorgeous little soul. I also wanted to touch base on partner dynamics and what that looks like. So, regardless of whether you're going on a journey with solo motherhood, with assisted conception, or whether you are in same-sex relationships or you have a male partner, it's important to recognize that there are multiple facets of how energies unite in these circumstances. So, obviously, from a physical body level, a partner or a man that's contributing sperm to this child, it's carrying 50% of the genetics. But it's important for them to also have an intention and integrity around the frequency or the vibration that they're contributing. So if you're in relationship, that is amazing. You can actually have really honest discussions with your partner. Are they ready to hold space for you? Do they hold space for you in the preconception period? Do they hold space for you, or can you anticipate that they will hold the space for you during pregnancy as you're growing this soul? And what will motherhood look like? Can they hold the space for you as you raise this beautiful, conscious little light being? I really, really love that. And obviously, it's not just about this physical contribution of an egg and a sperm. And you can read some fascinating stuff about light conception, obviously, which is when it's believed, like obviously Mother Mary went on a journey with this herself to conceive Yeshua. But it's so fascinating when you actually read about it. There's so many more accounts of this in more spiritual texts than we actually have an understanding about. And although two partners came together on an energetic level to unite, it wasn't actually the seed of the man that created the energy of the soul. It was actually light assisted from a very spiritual space. So I just find it all fascinating, to be honest with you. I'm intrigued by everything to do with spirituality and energy. But it is important, and I really love working with same-sex couples or women on a journey with solo motherhood to actually connect with the baby soul, and also connect with the energy of a donor if that's what they're using, or even for same-sex couples. What's it like for their energies to be united on this journey? How are they holding space for each other? And what does that look like? So partner dynamics is huge within this, regardless of whether you're on a journey with a male partner. It's such a huge and amazing process to go on as you unite your energies to create a safe container for this little soul to come into the family unit. So that is the journey today with conscious conception. And It is just such an amazing, amazing way to look at conception and pregnancy. And I hope you learned loads today on how you can connect with this gorgeous little baby soul. And beyond preparing the physical body, which we become generally consumed with through supplements and all these different things that we can do, how are you preparing your mind? How are you preparing your emotions? How are you preparing your womb? Outside of just the physical microbiome and all of these things, what does it look like energetically in your womb? Are you carrying trauma or imprints that need to be worked with there, to be removed? And what does it look like to have ancestral blocks or imprints within your energy body that need to be worked through? Now, one thing I tend to say with a lot of lovely women that come through to work with me, there's always a sense of urgency. There's a sense of needing to get things done yesterday. Every cycle is so important for them. But this work, I tend to say, is so sacred and so magical in so many ways that I'm like, take the time. Take a couple of months to get the body ready on all of these different levels, and everything will come into alignment. Everything will come into place. And it's important to have faith and belief in the process. So that is where we are at today. So again, we are running our energy medicine course, which kicks off in September. You have until August 5th to get early bird pricing if you want to sign up for that. And included in the course is our half-day ancestral healing retreat in Segotia in Rathmines. People after the 5th of August can just sign up for the half-day healing if they want to. They don't need to sign up for the energy medicine course. We'll be making that available to the public, though there are only limited spaces still available on that. So with love from my heart to yours, have an amazing day, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time.